Hello and welcome, everybody. We're back for another week.
Yeah.
Yay! So, Rook, why don't you hit us with that recap?
Last week, our magnificent bastards met a god.
And I didn't spit in its eye. It's too nice.
And not only did they meet a god, but Vanessa didn't punch him. It came about as a result of Vanessa's explorations into her past and her amnesia. It started with some restored memories, like when Vanessa got into a fight over a friend getting caught with contraband, and Vanessa broke 3 noses in the ensuing fight with security. With Cecil, Vanessa investigated some of her properties in Ireland and dug up coordinates that led to a national park. So the cell rented a car and drove out to that forested area, and in it, they found a man-made fairy circle, and Vanessa remembered more. Her previous cell attempted to summon an entity to meet with it and record it. Victor noted that the stones of the circle were not set up correctly. Nora rushed to make sure that the stones were just right, and Vanessa remembered some Gaelic words of power, which she then spoke. Cernunos appeared, surprising everyone. He told the cell that when Vanessa's group got the ritual wrong, he stopped paying attention, but her previous cell may have attracted someone else's attention and may have been pulled into the hedge by the Fae. Cernunos gave Vanessa her memory back, and she collapsed as a result of the mental strain. Victor somehow convinced this god to do a photo shoot for Nora, which may have been the highlight of her life. What might be even more important than meeting a god, restoring Vanessa's memory, and a disrobed photo shoot with the Horned One, however, was a meeting with Grayson Baxter, one of the leaders of the Scottish Ashford Abbey. Speaking with him, the cell gave him evidence and convinced him that the head of the London Abbey, Maximilian Strauss, was secretly a member of the Hunt Club, and that this Black Royal Regatta was a plot decades in the making to destroy the presence of the Ashford Abbey in London. Baxter informed the cell that he is initiating a purge of the London branch of the Ashford Abbey, minus our cell and the few people that we might care to leave off of the list of targets. Most of the cell named a few people who they would like to have protected. Cecil did not speak up for his parents.
And I'm glad you called his name out, because I was certainly going to.
And that's that?
That's that. Unless somebody has something to add, if I missed.
Cecil's just like the rest of us after all.
Hey now. Hey now.
That's it. I'm done.
On that note, we're going to pick up after Vanessa has come to and Cernunos has vanished, having finished his photo shoot with Nora.
Glorious bastard. Yeah, I mentioned...
I believe we wrecked the stones, me and Victor.
Yes.
We were like, this cannot happen ever again on purpose or by accident in this place.
Yes. You even attempted to shoot some of the rocks.
Oh, absolutely.
Bang, bang, bang.
Vanessa, are you
Wouldn't just
okay?
get more rocks.
I'll live. Let's get out of here.
Fair enough.
Fair. Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember.
Specifically, you remember in full detail what happened the night at your one location house in London. You remember the entity coming through the mirror. You remember it plunging to and fro from each member of the cell. And you remember leaving them to die, running away.
And can't believe I did that. Yeah, that will be now Vanessa's shame. Getting to fight an awesome thing and then not fighting it, running away. If there's a round 2, she's not running away. But she will keep that to herself. She doesn't want to be seen less cool, especially in front of Nora here. Even though she's currently in NPC land.
Let's go then. You look like you could use. You've got bags under your eyes, Vanessa. I don't think I've seen that before.
Time to get a drink.
I think so. I think I remember too much. Need to forget a little bit.
Let's go see how many dirty vodka martinis it takes for you to be able to pretend again.
I like pretending. It's a fun game.
I'm starting to get too used to it. I'll just kind of reach a hand down to help Vanessa up.
Yeah, I get up. I get up. Yep. And I think we leave. Does anybody else wants to do anything to this fairy ring?
I think we've done enough.
Cecil gets in the driver's seat.
Let's head out then.
As you guys
Yeah.
head out, Cecil, the drive is pleasant.
And pretty, I would imagine,
Oh,
given the location.
exceedingly.
Get to drive over I Love You Bridge, which is like right nearby. I heard they
Actually,
filmed a movie out here one time.
So are we going to Edinburgh then? Can I dress into Edinburgh?
It might be wise to resupply in London.
In London? You think we want to be in London when everything happens?
It's not ideal, but given the magnitude of what may unfold, we may wish to be fully prepared. I know we didn't exactly leave with the most preparation and foresight.
No, we did not. Is there... What do we not have that we don't think Edinburgh could supply if we felt it necessary?
I'm good. I have everything I need.
Do you have...
do you have a large supply of drugs with you, Vanessa?
I've probably gone through that a bit.
Rick's got some too. He doesn't do them, but he keeps like painkillers and stuff around.
It's been a few weeks. So.
You know, I'm just thinking like Edinburgh just seems... It's...
Too close to Glasgow for my liking.
It's if we want to know more information about how to kill Slugman, they've got a library we haven't seen. If we want to hunt down Cane Boy, they've got resources we don't have and can probably provide us with access to the resources that we don't already have remotely anyway. Can't kill Slugman anyway. Jasper and his cell are dead. What's in London?
Maybe not so much for Victor. I think all that Victor might grab would be a new set of armor, given that some of us had ours shredded. But I don't out of character. I don't know if any of the rest of you left, shall we say, more firepower back in London that you might want to grab.
All the hands, and I already got him.
Yeah, Nathan left a lot of firepower back home.
I think we have some pistols, but I know we've got some bigger barrels back home.
Yeah, Rick's certainly got his specialty pistol, and there's probably some small stuff on the plane or on the chopper, but it would only be stuff that could be legitimately licensed and registered and stuff. It wouldn't be any of our nothing to Nathan's taste. Yeah. We can go back. Can you check with Guinevere and see if we can actually get there and back without a problem?
I suppose.
Do we need to go in quiet? Do we need to go in quick? Do we need to avoid checkpoints, or can we just fly in and out real fast?
If it is going to be an issue, we can always just make the straight shot. Just a suggestion, I suppose.
I'm okay with it. I just,
Just to figure this out, what are we gearing up for exactly?
Who knows?
Some people just like having guns around them.
I think we're expecting some sort of retaliation or things to go south with this purge.
Are we expecting to be found while we're helicopter mobile?
Not necessarily that, but we don't necessarily know what part we might be playing in this event, whether it's a more active role or not, or what might be thrown back at us for this.
About at this point that you would have exited the national park and would be on your way back to Dublin proper.
Well, maybe it's best not to keep Baxter waiting. I'm sure they have some sort of supplies there that we could borrow if need be.
I mean, I could pick up a second set of underclothes, but I don't know. I just I feel like checking out Edinburgh, seeing what we can learn, giving time for things in London to settle, and then swinging through if we need to.
Enough. I think it is in our best interest to touch base with Edinburgh and see what's going on.
Oh, it hurts my heart to say, but maybe we drive?
Drive? What could you potentially mean from that?
The bumpy
I've
road.
never heard you say the word before.
Also,
Vascu's haunting us, and we don't know what strings they've pulled. We know that the locals, at the last time Victor talked to them, hadn't gotten a word, but we don't know who has. So,
Speaking of, would Baxter have any pull with Vasco at all? Any strings he can pull in that direction?
You'd have to ask him.
Yeah, not to my knowledge.
The deafening silence there was the answer to your question, Nathan.
It's a fair answer. You've only just met the guy after all.
Yeah. I don't know.
So, the plan is to fly over to Edinburgh and then drive there, or what? Because you are on another island.
Yeah, we can't drive to Edinburgh.
Oh yeah.
Hey, we could technically like,
That like I was a little.
I mean, we could
confused what you meant by-
ferry.
yeah, you could take a ferry.
I'm sure we could
Oh,
find
yeah.
an amphibious vehicle.
Screw it. Take me to take us to my chopper. I can't. This just became too complicated. We're flying.
When I was getting myself excited for a ferry trip.
We literally just had one.
trip.
Yeah.
No, we didn't.
You were unconscious afterwards.
No, a ferry.
At the
Boat.
fairy circle. It's a fairy god.
Are you sure it gave you your memory back and didn't steal some?
Ferry.
It's not a spelling contest, Vanessa. You'll lose it.
Well, you guys end back up in Dublin.
Hey, anyway, yeah.
One thing, also, Vanessa, is, during this car ride, you've obviously been perusing the memories that you've gotten back.
I imagine it's like more like it's coming back like over time more than like a big hit.
Yeah, more or less. One thing you do remember is you weren't the only one that took off and ran.
Oh.
You remember there was somebody running beside you.
Do I remember who that person was?
Yes, you do. It's one of your former cellmates. However, the biggest issue right now that you're having is you don't... Basically one of those situations, you went right, they went left. But you know that they made it out of the house completely unscathed, along with you.
Okay. Do I know which one of my which one of my cellmates it was?
You would, if I remembered their names. I'm having
the
a-
names I have for them that you've given me is Zach, Jennifer, Ivan, and Nestor.
It was Nestor. Like,
Nestor.
I just couldn't remember any of their names at that moment, but like I knew which one had survived as soon as I heard the name.
Don't worry, it's hard to keep like a million NPCs in your head at once.
A little. Just a little. So, having arrived in Dublin, straight to the chopper.
Get to the chopper.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
We'll head to Edinburgh.
Speaking of this, I feel like this is a good time to discuss what are your plans for the 2 extra bodies that you have. As Rick calls Guinevere
Giggity.
and Victor's Touchstone.
Claire.
Yep. Who's still at the hotel room with you guys.
Yeah.
I imagine Guinevere, we hand a very large wad of cash assembled by taking a small wad of cash from the multitude of go bags and assembling them and leave him here to handle business. Unless he thinks he needs to be with us or wants to be with us until he can settle things in a bit more. What do you think, Victor?
I think it's kind of up to him, I suppose, on where he'd feel the most effective, I suppose, whether that's staying here or returning to London. whatever have you.
Now, Guinevere, when he's notified of this, because you guys are back in Dublin, no reason to have you driving the streets of Dublin, essentially just regrouping at the the hotel room. Guinevere, having heard the previous conversation with Baxter while he was on the phone, so he only heard bits and pieces of it. Once this is brought up to him, he's like, I would most rather stay here. I may not be in the body of an Ashford Abbey member anymore, but I am still in the body of a hunter. I'm not quite sure I would be off their list, so to speak.
So your cops, naturally enemies of the Ashford Abbey.
Very specific type of cop. Also, on that note, I feel like I need to mention something else. That purge, as it was described, and he kind of holds up his phone. That's gonna get their attention real fast.
Was it tonight that was supposed to happen, or in the next few nights?
He wasn't specific, was he?
No, he was not.
I imagine it will probably take a few days. Like, that sort of mass scale action probably takes some time to put together the manpower and planning for that sort of thing.
Especially since there were people who were going to explicitly be moved out of the country prior to.
Nathan's daughter, the Delacroix family. Not the Windham family. Nope.
Not even anyone specific.
All right. No, I think
That just kind of leaves Claire as the one that's really up in the air.
I think it, considering we've yet to deal with our slug monster, it's probably best that Claire stays out of London for the time being, at least until we can deal with this thing. I suppose I can make arrangements, have her stay at the estate in Marseille. I think she could be safe there.
She looks at you and she goes, if you think it'll be safe, but I mean, is anywhere safe? Should that thing get out, of course, is what I'm meaning.
It's a slug, after all. I doubt it can move that quickly. But don't concern yourself with that. We'll deal with it permanently.
She kind of looks over at Rick. I'm guessing you're gonna... I guess you have another helicopter or plane or something. And she says this with a bit of venom in her voice that probably would make Nora proud.
Aww.
Is Rick speechless?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. I've got another small one in London, a little four-seater. It's not quite this comfortable. I think the next closest one, is it in... Oh, it may be in Belgium right now, or Luxembourg, I'm not sure.
I'm assuming I'm supposed to just wait till one of your people comes and gets me then.
Yeah, I mean, my staff will be out of London by midday tomorrow. Moving about. I can have someone pick her up, Victor, if you'd like, and take her to the estate.
That's fine. Yes, I suppose whatever works. Regardless, I think it would be best to stay out of the area for the time being. However we go about it, I think matters little.
As I'm assuming at this point you guys have probably collected everything from your hotel room. I mean, hotel rooms.
Yeah.
It wouldn't take you that long before you could be on the chopper. As you're loading up, though, Rick, you get a phone call.
Okay.
It's from your old contact back at the Deerfoot.
Okay. Yeah, I'll flip that open and just kind of step into another room. Just kind of do the 1 second, kind of like hold my finger up to everybody, like I'll be right back. Just kind of step into another room and flip it open.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for the lawyer, by the way.
Of course.
Well, stuff like this doesn't go uninvestigated by our men.
Yeah. Who messed it up?
Oh, I don't... I don't want to necessarily say somebody messed it up. The law enforcement that was brought in were of the upper echelons. They were not your standard patrol officers, we'll say that.
Yeah, somebody did something stupid somewhere.
Well, no, somebody did something incredibly smart. Word in the precinct is somebody leaned on the captain and had it investigated a bit more thoroughly than what would usually be done.
I told you not to take more than what was necessary.
Kind of sighs and he goes, honestly, you want my bet?
Sure.
My bet is the target did it.
Well, no shit. Did you see the property? I gave you warnings.
Yes. And from what I've been able to ascertain, they didn't take more than what was needed.
No.
So, I will let you deal with that however you see fit, because you called in the target, we hit the target, and then the target bit back.
Hey.
Consequences for my own actions? What are these?
Hey. I owed you a debt. I paid it. I tacked on the appropriate caveats. Your men weren't prepared to handle something at the level that was necessary for it to be handled. Handle them.
I'll remember that, Rick. I'll remember that. The line goes dead. Do you begin to make your way back to the chopper, or are you just kind of standing there staring at your phone at this moment?
No, he's pissy, but it's not like I didn't do anything after the fact to help. He's
Yeah.
out of jail on my lawyer's dime, and he's not going to forget that. So I'll let him have his temper tantrum, and move on. He'll remember it, but he'll remember the rest of the picture as well once he's done having his temper tantrum. So, yeah, I'll head back into the room.
Everybody heading to the chopper?
Get to the chopper.
Get there.
And I don't see any reason to belay anything unless people have something they desperately need to have a conversation about.
Nah, my character wants out of Ireland now.
I think we've run our course here. Yes.
Vanessa, how'd you get away?
What?
Well, they gave you your memory back, right? You were with them. That did stuff in the house. There was the iron, something about the thing.
I got arrested, bro.
What about the house? Didn't y'all do something in the house? Yeah, y'all put the iron there and everything. How'd y'all get out?
So, help me remember here where I went. Did I go to? Was the house first on my character's journey, or was it the fairy ring that happened first?
The chain of events is the house was somewhat of a staging area first. You guys were getting your notes together there, etc. Then the incident in Ireland happened. Some of you were able to get through, a couple of you weren't. The fairy circle incident happened. Your crew came back with crap tons of iron, stored it in the house, and then a couple of weeks later when you guys met up again, that's when this other incident happened. So essentially the house was very clearly was a staging area.
Okay, so they came back from their trip in Ireland, then we did that whole thing, and there. Yeah. Shut up, Rick. There you go, that's her answer. She's not gonna try to try to give you something. You're thinking too much.
Alright.
Yeah, you very obviously hit like a sore spot for Vanessa there.
Rick takes a note.
And with that...
Nice.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's about the only thing. I think he'd bring that up at some point during kind of like the driving around, but that's about it.
And this is about the point that you would end up at Ashford Abbey HQ. Now, this club, even by European standards, is old. Immaculately maintained, though. It's half again the size of the London branch. It also seems to be on high alert. Both Nathan and Rick, being military, kind of know the spots where to look when you're looking at a place that's being occupied, so to speak. You can't even count the number of probably heavily armed individuals on both hands around this place.
And those are the ones you can see.
Yeah, those are the ones in the exceedingly obvious spots where you would expect them to be.
Those ones are mainly for show. Although they're still quite capable. They're mainly for show.
Most likely.
This one, front gate is locked tight and has a 4-person guard standing in front of it. As you guys as you stated, driving around, so I'm assuming you're in car at this point. Cecil's probably driving.
So, like, do we need to make an appointment, or?
I think we
Baxter
have one.
invited us. Show him the card. Do we have cards as part of the Ashford Abbey? Like, is it an actual thing we have, or is it just like a saying card-bearing member in the Ashford Abbey?
I'm picturing something out of that scene from American Psycho where everyone's showing off their
The business card.
business cards.
I'm sure you probably have some card, but it's more probably like a ceremonial thing, not an actual thing of any use.
Well, there's an actual gentleman's club, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a front, so we probably have that. But there's probably like a watermark on it, or there's like a lot of those clubs will have like tiers of memberships. So there's probably like where the marker for the tier of membership is, there's like the weird black crow or something like that, that if anybody else saw it, they'd be like, oh, you're some special tier member. But to the people who know what that tier is, kind of thing.
The secret handshake.
Yeah, basically.
As you
A
pull
watermark
up,
secret handshake.
the 4 guards they make the gesture of roll down the windows, and they expect, you can tell as the first one comes to the driver's side, he makes it very clear that all windows have to be down.
I would imagine seeing like the firepower and having been through like actual security checkpoints and stuff. Like when we come up, like all of our windows would go down. The radio is off. The car is on. It's put immediately in park, and like Rick's hands are probably at, like 10 and 2.
Except Cecil's driving.
Yeah, Seth would be driving. So Rick's hands would be like he'd have his hands crossed, but like over his biceps where both hands are visible, in whatever seat he's in.
And cards at the ready.
Yep.
They take your cards, they inspect them, they even take a black light over them. Well, you've come at an auspicious time.
Is there a better time than auspicious?
Not these days. I don't know how to put this any more delicately. Be on your absolute best behavior here.
I always am.
Rick will
Make
just
just give
smile.
him this like winning smile.
Imagine Rick's smile and Vanessa's smile are like almost the same smile.
It's the practice smile of a sociopath.
Meanwhile,
is.
Cecil's lips are pursed together in like a fake smile, like, oh, we're gonna get in trouble.
You will be
I'm not gonna get in trouble, but they're gonna get in trouble.
You will be expected to check all weapons and leave them in a locker. And don't even try saying that you don't have weapons.
What do we do with her? And Rick will just point at Vanessa.
I don't have any weapons. Except
Body.
these guns.
Body as a weapon. Just put a lock on those.
The look on his face, he goes, if the dog tries to bite, we'll put a muzzle on her.
Not very nice.
I'm not gonna lie, that would be the most entertaining thing I will have seen in a very long time.
I would pay to see that.
And that's saying something considering where we just came from, but I'm just gonna let that go.
If you decide to do that, can you give me a heads up? Because I want to take bets.
Regardless, the reason why is you're getting access that nobody else has. You are likely, from everything I've been told, you're being seen by... nobody's more powerful than these individuals. So, treat it as if you were seeing the Prime Minister, the President, whatever deity you pray to. Imagine you were meeting them in person.
Cerneros.
I'm sorry, did you just sneeze?
Sort of.
Anyways, drive on through. And... well... there's only really one thing I can say here. And good luck.
Rick's parting words. If we needed luck, we wouldn't be on the invite list.
As you pull in, you are greeted with probably Nathan and Rick. This security checkpoint at the door brings back old military vibes when you're bringing in prisoners of war.
A vet definitely set this place up.
I get a vibe from Baxter.
As you are entered, this particular clubhouse is designed almost like the front, this part of it at least is designed almost like the front room of a manor. Massive open area, two semicircle staircases leading up to the second level. Indoor water feature. Literally the amount of money that this place that has been spent on this place is probably 6 to 7 times all of your yearly salaries.
That's not a small number.
They've been here longer.
I own senators, so yeah, they've had some time.
Baxter stands up at the balcony overlooking the entryway. Good, you guys did not dilly-dally, as it were. Sorry, when we call for such an event, security tends to be enhanced, just in case.
I'm impressed.
Understandable. Safety first.
Absolutely, Victor. And Rick, you haven't seen anything yet.
Well, I didn't say I was surprised. Just impressed. I'm hoping you can surprise me.
So, I have an audience. As I had mentioned, the Royal Council, but also the Ring has taken an interest in this as well. At this point, I will need any sort of recording devices placed also in the weapons locker along with your firearms.
Yeah, Rick's not gonna. I don't think Rick's gonna try to conceal anything.
Standard stuff for
Yeah,
like weapon steals and stuff. So
basically, like we're basically walking into a skiff. So
When in Rome.
After all of the formalities are taken care of,
I put my phone in the locker and that's it.
Gonna put the pistol and the phone in there.
imagine Vanessa making a big show of like only putting a phone in the locker, knowing that's literally all she has, but just like waiting for somebody to test it.
Cecil, I need to, because of the way you phrase that, I do need to make a question. Are you actually trying to conceal something in there?
Oh no, like he's
Okay.
he's got a phone, he's got a pistol, like he doesn't have a bunch of stuff
Okay.
on him.
Just the way you kind of said that, I was like, wait, is he hiding something?
Is he leaving something off of that list? No.
Those specific things. It's got a bazooka.
Yeah, but that one's only been shot.
Have to be reloaded. So, with that, he leads you deep into this country club. He's making idle chit-chat, whether very, very polite conversation. Nothing too deep.
Did you see that game last night? They
Yeah.
bloody walked it in.
Man, how about them Braves?
I'm assuming that's baseball.
It's one of the sport balls. I don't know.
It's
Ball's a
baseball.
sport.
I actually know for a fact that that's baseball. Eventually, you are led to a... Some of you would know from first-hand experience what a boardroom looks like. And that's essentially what this is. Some of the members are in really fancy suits. All of them appear to probably be in their 60s and 70s. And then another
Sounds like a boardroom.
and then another group, they wear more streetwear, you would put it, almost as if they want to blend in with crowds nowadays, but they still probably are pushing 50 to 60 as well. Baxter kind of goes, now, I will leave you fine folks here. I am not allowed to be privy to this conversation. As such, consider yourselves one of the few to ever have this honor. The Ring and the Royal Council meeting you. He kind of shrugs. I wish it was, well, I was going to say I wish it was on better terms. But no other terms would have ever called for this. So, and he steps out of the room and you hear the door shut and lock.
Wait, we're inside and the door locks from the outside?
Yes.
Yeah. I like lean over to whoever's nearest to me. I'm like, I don't know if I love them or hate them.
I'm picturing in Vanessa's head right now. You're locked in here with me.
Are there open seats?
Yes, there are open seats for you guys to take. Just enough for the 6 of you.
Yeah, take
Well,
a spot.
Yeah, time to go sit down. It's time to
If
meet the
there is
board.
an empty seat at one of the heads of the table, that's where Rick goes and sits.
No.
Are there other people in here and there's just like stuff in the way?
There's bodies actively in the seats.
Okay, so there are actually people in the seats. We're not in a room waiting for somebody to join us.
No,
No.
all seats are taken.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Once you take your seats, there are no more seats. Everybody's already seated.
Gotcha. Because he would absolutely have moved somebody's stuff.
And been shot.
Well, we're not going to deal with pleasantries here. I speak for the Royal Council. I am Marcus MacDonald O'Glovely the Third. And I'm sure your history either evades you or you know immediately who I am, and no further discussion is needed. He kind of looks over at Victor.
I imagine Victor probably has some inkling of that name. It's probably been thrown around in the circles before, I imagine.
Oh, most certainly, since, Marcus MacDonald O'Glovely I founded the Ashford Abbey in 1855.
Yes, after that lovely werewolf incident. Yes. Well, it's a pleasure to be here. Shall we get to business?
Yes, The others here of the Royal Council, and they kind of all nod, have given me authority to speak on their behalf. If you wish to ask for their names, you may ask them in private. You will have a moment probably to chat before we actually send you off into the inferno, as it were. Don't even bother asking. And he makes a head gesture at the ones more dressed for casual wear. Don't even bother asking. You will not get anything resembling a real name. Those are our associates at the ring. You, along with us, are the first to see their faces in a very long time. Truth be told, probably when we were younger, some of them were probably in the same positions. We can't honestly tell you. They're that good. So down to business. We have a problem. We are going to deal with the problem in London. However, that is not the full scope of the issue. So, the big thing I want to ask you, each and every one of you, what is it that you want?
Hot monsters.
Is that something Vanessa actually says aloud?
Yes. She knows what she wants.
I think Rick Cat cracks a smile at that.
It seems like you have a member of the Libertine. It's wonderful.
And Cecil like covers his mouth, just like.
What? I know what I want.
That is more than easy to provide. However, I feel like any kind of leans on the table. I feel like that's something you could probably get on your own.
I do. But I like the group stuff as well.
We're learning stuff about Vanessa that we've never ever known before.
Nobody's just. She likes hanging out with people and, going hunting and she does this for fun. Kicks.
It's a group sport.
Yeah.
And you were hunting
Like
a
coaching a
god.
volleyball team.
All right. We were more interested in things that you could not get on your own. Money can get you whatever you want. Well, most of the time. And you are certainly capable of hunting down your own groups of monsters. He kind of looks over at Cecil. Don't worry, we already know what you want.
Do you?
He's not gonna say anything. He's just gonna just that side eye stare, like, oh yeah.
I think Rick will see that and be like, "What do you think Cecil wants?"
From everything we have heard through the grapevine, through his family, what we were able to dig up, they are devout Ashford Abbey members, if a little, in some cases, a little more wild. However, we do know that their names are not on the list. So that comes with two options. Either they've fallen, and we're doing the world a favor, or Cecil is removing them so he can leave. Normally that is not an option, but circumstances withstanding is something that we are going to offer. You will be completely stricken from every record. Matter of fact, we could even go so far as to make sure that you don't exist in the world, period. Obviously, that creates...
I quite enjoy that.
Obviously, that causes its own set of issues, so we wouldn't go that far without your express permission.
I imagine it might be much simpler if I just resume my place at the company and lead it.
Perfectly acceptable. You will not hear hide nor hair from us after you do this last thing for us.
Nor will you have any trouble from me.
That was going to be one of the contingencies. I will admit. If you were going to cause problems, obviously we would have to address said problems.
No, I don't want your attention.
Victor, you also fall into somewhat of the same branch, yet an opposite arm of the branch. It is good to know that the Delacroix family has not fallen. Or at least is being given a chance to prove that they have not fallen.
Thank you for the opportunity to prove our family's pedigree and nobility's rightful place amongst the Abbey.
No, we are not able to offer a seat on the council. That's just not within the cards, nor is the ring already has eyes on other people. However, that does not mean that your growth will be in any way, shape, or form stunted. The purge, once complete, we will make sure that you are the ruling house, so to speak. Obviously, the country club still belongs to the cell. However, you will be given privileged access. You will be the one directly in charge of the affairs, if nobody else wants to speak up for that job here. I don't want to presume and step on any toes.
Tweet, tweet, cricket, cricket.
I very much assumed as much. Victor, do you accept?
I would be honored to accept the responsibility of managing the affairs of the London branch.
And then he kind of looks at the other four. Still giving Vanessa and I, like, there's so much...
Really? Is this all you want? Like...
yeah,
you can
pretty
ask
much.
us for anything. And I'm like, I already have everything I want.
She hunted a god for fun one time. Just shrug, like that's not a big deal.
So, Nathan and Rick.
See, that's it's kind of a big choice, especially for, you know, those of us that have so much already, and what we don't can be easily acquired. I'm thinking a favor to be named in the future.
An IOU. That can work.
I doubt that can be bought for any price.
Eyes go over to Rick.
Rick's eyebrows kind of raise, and he kind of looks at them expectantly and kind of pauses a beat in case they want to talk.
They are all somewhat eagerly listening.
Says it's... How do you know so much about what they want and not what the two of us want?
Their family lines go back almost as old as the Abbey itself. There is something to be said about history. When you come from old money, you learn families' values, you learn what they will like, what they dislike. You start to understand them on a more macro level. And then you can make inferences. You, 4 individuals, and he gestures at Nathan, Vanessa, Rick, and Nora, are relatively new within the Abbey. There's a difference between collecting information for roughly a couple hundred years versus having you only be members for, what? At most 20 years? If not less. So when we speak to the other two, we have more information to pull from. And these things are best left for individuals to decide. I mean, we could plop down billions, perhaps even trillions of dollars on this table. That doesn't mean much to people like us. Why would we offer you something that you very easily can obtain on your own? So we ask you for something that you can think of that is very difficult for you to get. And we will make it happen.
You know about where my money comes from?
R&D. Mostly.
Mostly.
You've played around with certain technologies that have garnered attentions of competitors, such as the Chiron organization.
I am working on new cutting edge. I think they're called, I think y'all refer to them as endowments. I want access to the work that's already been done towards that, to supplement my own, and an example of one installed.
You see a small smirk. We have 2 contacts we can reach out to and squeeze. The question is what do you actually want? Do you want a weapon? Or do you want a biochemical mixture of sorts? Though biochemical is not the most accurate term. Biomechanical augmentation maybe is more accurate. It's very hard once you start talking about these more esoteric subjects to start talking about them in scientific wording. Sometimes things don't play nicely like that. Definitions.
Yeah.
Both we could
Yeah.
make happen. Would you want both? Because that will take a little bit of time. 2 different organizations that we'd have to work with, but it could be done. However, would you be willing to go under the knife for the one?
Of course I would.
All right.
That's what I want. I want access. I want a couple of your best people to advise, so that I can make the rest of my progress and be a real competitor in the space.
All right. He kind of looks over at the ring and they give a subtle nod like they know what they need to do. Vanessa, last chance.
Can't think of anything.
To live the life of a libertine.
I already have everything I want.
So, now I'm sure all of you already are aware we're not going to give these things freely. As we mentioned to Cecil, we have one task in mind here. You were set on this course by certain individuals under the guise of the Black Royal Regatta. Banish that from your minds. We are issuing the Black Royal Regatta on the entirety of the Hunt Club in Philadelphia.
Wait a moment, you're telling us you want us to go to America?
You will be going to America. We want the bodies of everybody within their main clubhouse on the ground. Looks directly over at Nora. Photographed. We want that place. This is where things get difficult. This is also part of the reason why we're offering to completely wipe you from all records, Cecil, is not only are we asking for a lot of bodies here, we are asking that this place be made uninhabitable.
In Philadelphia, how inhabitable could it be?
These guys were able to orchestrate a decades-long plot against us. It's too habitable. And at this point, he sets a briefcase up on the table. He opens it. Now, I really don't feel like Cecil, Vanessa, or Victor would even have a shot to identify what this is. I'm sorry. It's one of those things. The modifier I would give you would be so intense that there's no point in having you guys roll.
Saying I have a chance die.
No, you wouldn't even have a
No
chance to
idea.
die.
No,
Less-
good thing
less
I
than a
rolled a
chance
one die.
So, Nathan. Nathan and Rick. Nathan, this would be an intelligence plus science
You gotta hurt me like that.
at
That's
a
pretty
minus 2.
Oh, it was gonna be a chance die anyway.
Rick, this would be the same roll at a minus 1 for you. You would probably have a better idea than Nathan would.
I am untrained in science.
The -3 penalty for that, sir.
Yeah.
Nathan did not succeed.
Willpower can be burned here.
Oh, can it?
Yeah.
Well, I'll do that then.
Yeah.
I didn't
Force your
realize
brain to
willpower.
remember the information.
So that'll be a +2.
This
then,
isn't
so
remembering, this is identifying.
So
One
you,
success then.
you said it was intelligence, science -3 for Nathan? Or
-2 for you.
-2.
It'd be minus. So Rick could be rolling it at -4, not having science. -1
I think
penalty.
that would still be a chance die, even with willpower.
He got +3. Yeah, no, he did it right.
Oh, yep.
One
Yeah,
success.
it's modifiers, yep.
You know on the base level what this is, Rick. They have literally just set a dirty bomb on the table.
The bomb.
Not just a bomb, a dirty bomb. This
Needs
has
cleaning.
this has an effective radius of essentially a clubhouse. It will not affect the outlying areas. It will make that area, though, quite devoid of anything and everything. For at least a few months.
Rick will just kind of reach over and slowly shut the suitcase or the case and put the latch down and just kind of pull it over in front of him.
At this point, you guys hear the lock behind you click again. Of course, you're under no obligation. We have no intent on forcing this issue. You can walk out right now. You will not get the reward we discussed, of course. That is contingent upon this. However, you can walk out, continue your lives as it were.
I've never killed somebody with a briefcase before.
Briefcase.
First time for everything.
And let us be clear here for a second. What we expect here is for you to kill everybody here. Or kill everybody there.
I was gonna say.
Activate.
Vanessa starts punching.
Kill everybody there. Get the proof that everybody's there. Set this thing off. Burn the building to the ground. Do whatever you want. That is specifically there to make sure they can't, should by some miraculous thing, a hard drive, a camera, a videotape, I don't know, one of the individuals shoved a VHS tape up their rectum and was hiding it so that eventually we could be traced back to this. I realize the absurdity of what I'm saying here. I want to make sure that if they come back to this spot, to that spot to look for any information, they end up in the ground because of radiation poisoning. And it's at this point that I'm pretty sure everybody would realize what that briefcase actually is now.
Kind of a big leap for Vanessa there still.
Yeah, Rick wasn't gonna take the hand on that one. He was gonna lie and say it was like an EMP or something for like hard drives and stuff, which is a thing he needs to build now.
Questions, comments, concerns.
Where's your arms room?
What information do you have on them?
You have about the same amount of information as we do. They look over at Rick. Arms room. That is not something we keep on the premises. What we do have, though, are arms dealers. Essentially on retainer. We can have them here in an hour. They'll have their entire stock. Military grade, mostly. Probably not some of the more fancy stuff that you're used to. We apologize. As stated, that will take us a couple of days to get over here.
We need to make a quick trip to London. Shouldn't need to be there for more than a couple of hours. We need.
We highly recommend no returning to London at this time. Safety reasons. We can't just. We don't want you ending up getting snatched after this conversation. Implausible, but it could happen.
Then I need something picked up from my apartment. I'll make notes. Need it brought here. We need your arms dealers here. I need I need clearance. I've got a pilot who is going to bring a helicopter back here. He needs to bring a plane now. That's more difficult. I'll need that.
Oh, come on now. You don't think we're going to provide you with a plane? Serial numbers already filed off. Untraceable.
But I like my plane. It's comfortable.
As if we would stick you in coach. And you can see he is actually somewhat insulted by that.
But this one's mine.
He's very attached to his stuff.
Whatever. I do have something I need from my apartment, and I have a shopping list.
What do you need from your apartment? We can't get it if we don't know what it is.
It's a suit. Looks, and I'll give like a brief description of like the like the secondary like my like of the suit that got shredded by the slug thing.
He gives you such an exasperated look. You don't think we could provide something similar?
I don't know. I assumed if you could, you would tell me, and then you would need to get mine.
We didn't know what you needed to get. Could have been one of your R&D stuff, which that would be something that we probably wouldn't be able to reproduce at the drop of a hat. But an armored suit? That's going to be standard issue to you guys. You're going to need body armor.
I've got access to my data. I'm not worried about that. Everything in the apartment's burned, as far as that's concerned.
Well then. However, the only thing I haven't heard is if anybody wants out. He looks around the room. Now that all the cards are laid bare.
I assumed that if any of us had wanted out, they would have left already.
I've never hunted a person before.
Oh, these... I wouldn't even classify these people as human.
I mean, we hunted Jasper.
He did that to himself?
So did these guys.
They brought it upon themselves.
Well, I think we're a bit too far in to back out now.
I mean, it's only polite to let people back out of a deal, obviously, since we just laid, quite literally, and he gestures at the suitcase, that on the table. It'd be unfair of us to say, oh, you already agreed, like some child.
I mean, that's fair and all, but, you know, you have done your research. You know the kind of jobs I've taken. Planting a bomb is not the strangest or worst. That's the kind of job I would handle or have other people handle for me, but since this one is obviously higher stakes, I will make sure this gets done personally.
Well, if everybody's okay then, I feel like you have probably a bit of a shopping to do. As stated, they'll be here within an hour. I would also... You don't need to keep us privy of your plans. Keep those to yourself. We would prefer not to know, actually. The fewer people that know about this stuff, the better. So, with that, they almost all uniformly stand up and make their way out. There's some mild chatter between them, but they do essentially leave you in the room by yourself.
But Vanessa, you've never killed a man?
No, I never hunted a person. I'm like, killed
Those are different
people,
things.
like, heat of the moment, but, like, this. I haven't done this. Be your first time.
I think Rick kind of pointedly just looks at Cecil.
Who is mostly just kind of like looking down at his hand on the table, like he's lost in his head. He's not really looking at anybody.
What's going on in his head?
He's in this loop of like, they want me to do horrific things, yes, but it will lead to my freedom. They want me to do horrific things, yes, but it will lead to my freedom. And so like half of his brain is imagining being a normal person who doesn't hunt monsters. A normal wealthy person who doesn't hunt monsters.
Let's edit that.
And
Just your everyday billionaire.
yeah, so half of his mind is entertaining fantasies of just having a grand old life, and the other half of his brain is saying, yeah, but you're gonna be haunted.
Being a regular old person. Ugh.
I mean, the people who own multinational corporations are regular people.
A boring rich life.
So, Rick, you're met with not a dead stare, but no stare at all. It's almost like Cecil doesn't even register that you were speaking or even looking at him.
Cecil. Are you
What?
in, or did you just not get up because you didn't know what the hell to do?
I mean, I'd be a fool for not being in. Because if I wasn't in now, I'd be in forever.
If you're not in now, you hunt monsters forever?
Yeah.
Alright.
So I have to be in now.
Just one more job, right? Just one more job and you can retire.
God damn it, you just had to make that reference, didn't you?
Sorry, I gotta throw up the red flags, you know?
Wasn't that Johnny Depp movie, Nathan? Didn't he go to prison after that?
Which one? I don't
I
remember.
think you mean clean.
Cocaine. No, with the cocaine. Blow. He did the one more job. He got out of jail, did one more job so he could set his daughter up, and it was a setup, and he went to prison.
The usual suspects. One job.
Just, once we're on the you've got until we get on the plane, Cecil. But then it's too late.
I mean, technically it's already too late, but
No, it's not.
No. You know what happens if I'm not in now, there isn't any reason for them to keep me around. Like, there's only so much Victor would be able to do to protect me from them.
Why don't you just, like, have that be, like, your reward for this? Like, I won out.
Yeah,
That is
was
his
it.
reward.
Yeah,
It
that's what
sounds
they.
like it's completely on the table here for you.
Yes, that's what they offered. Yes.
That's what they offered him.
Yeah,
But
I do this and I'm out.
I'm making sure Cecil really does want to pay the price. I don't think these people we're hunting are people anymore, and I don't think they have been for quite a while. So I'm okay with this, but Cecil's always had different standards than the rest of us.
And while Cecil gives that a lot of thought, we're gonna go to break.
Bye.
And we're back, everybody. You have probably left the room at this point and are you're left completely alone. Nobody is bothering you. People are all... There does seem to be a bit of urgency to everybody's movements around. It definitely seems like they're preparing for something.
How do we get out?
Through the doors, I assume, but I could have stayed and make up a shopping list for when their guys come.
Yeah. I'll text Baxter. No, that's not what I meant though. How do we get back out of Pittsburgh?
Oh, you mean after?
Yeah.
That thing got a remote?
I pop the latches and like open it back up. Is there like a remote of some kind in there?
It's definitely timered.
No. No remote. We'll be on a clock.
It's not ticking now, is it? Like,
No.
we have to set it ourselves, I imagine.
What a great end for the story. Start the timer now.
I could probably fiddle with it, put a remote in it. If we wanted, timer might be better.
Well, yeah, because a remote could probably be tracked. A timer, less so.
I mean, it depends on how we do the remote. Wouldn't use like a cell phone or something.
Right.
But does everybody know what this thing is, or is it just
It's
me?
a briefcase.
I have a fair idea now.
It looks like something that kills.
Yeah, this isn't gonna go boom. This isn't.
It's one of those.
Yeah, it's one of those. This is it's gonna make the clubhouse a hot zone for a long time.
Like what's a strobe light?
You will become a strobe light, yes.
Hey, did you watch that docuseries on Chernobyl, Vanessa?
No.
You should.
I don't even. What's a Chernobyl?
Don't worry about it.
It sounds like a Russian fruit.
Kinda. Just, after it's gone bad and rotten.
Yeah, there's an elephant's foot in there too.
Yeah. When they were giving us the kind of the outlines of our mission, they said they wanted it uninhabitable. But they didn't necessarily say that we had to use this.
The goal of that is to basically make sure that if anybody comes back to try and dig for information, they've sealed their own fate, essentially. Basically, they expect there to be evidence. There's just no way there's not going to be evidence. So essentially, this is meant to keep the area somewhat devoid of people poking their nose into it for a while.
I'm going to buy them time. But it's not going to necessarily destroy the evidence. If they can, if they've pulled the right strings and they can make sure that, the wrong people, the innocent authorities don't just randomly walk in here to find where these people went, then it effectively means that only other hunt club members outside of Pittsburgh are going to be at risk. And it gives them time knowing they need to suit up to go in and clean house. Alternatively, some high-end incendiary devices to turn the place into a smoking crater that every fire truck in Pittsburgh wouldn't be equipped to put out because of the chemicals involved, mixed with a small localized EMP blast beforehand to kill any electronics, hard drives, etc. Would destroy the evidence, but would attract. It would be flashy and it would guarantee outside attention. This is not flashy. It does not guarantee outside attention.
It will eventually.
Not
But they may have
necessarily.
cleaned up. I assume that they're going to clean up by then.
Do we have any indication of where this clubhouse is? Is this an urban development? Is it out of the way? That really narrows down how much attention we can conceivably garner or try to avoid.
That's a fair point, because if that thing goes off in a fairly densely populated area, that's a lot of civilians coming to take a picture.
I mean, looking through it with some time to analyze it, if we just kind of sat in here for a while, would I be able to make like a can I flip from science to crafts to make a roll to see like what sort of area this would encompass and get some answers to the level of risk of grabbing attention, noise, flashiness, etc.
You could certainly make a roll. He did address that specifically. He did state that this is something that would make only essentially the area of a building uninhabitable. So it isn't. It's not exceedingly powerful. You can assume it's probably more designed rather than for it to be uncontained. It's just meant to be concentrated.
Yeah, it's more to verify what he said isn't full of crap.
Of course, that's fair.
Rick's concerned about a setup here, honestly. Like, they promised us the world, it's too good to be true, give us targets that we hate, promise us anything we want, and then hand us a freaking dirty bomb and send us to the USA. Like,
And then
on their plane with their armor and their guns and
there are people in the area, so that after we're done, they can wipe us out.
yeah, we're gonna need not while we're in this room with them.
They've
but
already
when
left.
No, I mean like not in this room, like not in this clubhouse, not in like when we're on our own in our own places and our own things, we can be reasonably sure of privacy. We're gonna need to discuss contingency plans because Rick's paranoid about this. We need additional exfils.
After the conversation is somewhat lulled, a few minutes later, a butler of sorts comes up and he goes, "All right, fellows, would you like me to show you where you'd be staying? We don't expect you to leave tonight. Obviously, certain things have to be set up and planned."
Sure, show us to our rooms.
Yes, please.
You will not be staying on campus, so to speak. You will be staying at one of the luxurious hotels that we have procured for you. It is a lovely penthouse suite. Only, we didn't want to saddle you up in the rooms that are used for common hunts. Feel free. And he pulls out a Palm Pilot with an address on it. The name of the person is Ponsworth Boondoggle. And you see him crack a smirk, and he goes, I'm only joshing. It's underneath your name, Mr. Delacroix.
Butler's got jokes. I like him.
He's like,
Wow.
I've been here far too long. At a certain point, you have to be able to make certain jokes like that. Otherwise, one loses their mind.
That's understandable.
Well, we've been traveling for quite a while. I do think we shall retire.
As you make your way to the hotel room, it is certainly under Victor's name. Within the next few moments, the elevator ride is over. You are greeted with the penthouse suite. It has an indoor pool, beautiful skylights. You can tell it's definitely made for high society. And that is where the contrast of what is actually laid out before you is somewhat comical. We're talking barely clean table linens, those old plastic fold-out tables that you see at yard sales. But 3 very well-dressed men, and the weapons laying on these tables are definitely on display. Sorry, we were invited up beforehand to set up our wares here. This is just what we were able to bring with us. We have more at our actual stockpiles. Any custom orders or anything exceedingly special, we can acquire it. And this is all already paid for. You take what you want, leave what you don't. It's already paid for.
Can I assume that these guys would have brought anything on Rick's shopping list, or would that be something different?
Had you presented the list yet?
I would probably just text it to Baxter, honestly, since everybody just kind of like got up and walked out. And he's the only direct contact I have. And I know he's not on the council, but he apparently associates with deals or represents them in some way.
What exactly is on that list?
Basically, the things I need to craft a very strong but localized EMP device.
No, these guys are purely arms dealers.
Okay.
They don't have...
Have they brought anything unusual with them? Like, I imagine they brought like plenty of types of guns and whatnot, and ammunition to go with it, and probably some forms of explosives. But have they brought anything unusual like with them?
Well, there are certainly like melee weapons and the like.
I'm thinking, have you seen that video of the guy that makes his like own like Wolverine claws, like pneumatic Wolverine claws? Do they have anything like that here?
Aren't those just? I believe the technical term is just tiger claws, is it not?
No, but he has them like he could like have them extract out like push out, you know, like I don't know. Do they have anything like that?
Like the Assassin's Creed blades, but Wolverine claws out the...
Yeah, you hide them up your sleeves and whatnot.
They probably would. Most of their stuff is going to be far more practical than that. But that is something they could probably have custom made, or honestly, Rick is definitely the one for custom made gear such as that.
We could add the components to the shopping list, and it's probably something that Rick could put together. Yeah. He's put together stranger, harder to fabricate things, and it doesn't sound like getting a workspace is going to be difficult. He's going to need one anyway, because he's gonna work on like an EMP device, because once we step in, he wants to shut down any sort of communication outside of the building. He'll get like he'll build like a cell phone signal killer and like an EMP. He'll shut down everything. They're gonna go dark.
Nathan,
Needs?
there's one thing that immediately catches your attention.
Oh. What am I looking at?
The M62.
Hold on. I need to look that up because I don't remember off the top of my head.
2.
Oh, it's the Samsung Galaxy. It's 128 gig.
Ooh. Yeah, I've been needing a new phone.
No, it's a really nice assault rifle.
It's not an assault rifle. Well, yeah, technically, it depends on how you use it. I guess it's an assault rifle, but it's an anti-material sniper.
7.62 finish.
I'm looking at the wrong one then?
The Barrett M62.
Oh, the Barrett. Okay.
I was thinking the Vomit. Sorry.
Yeah, there's a few anti-material.
Oh, sorry, and it's 82.
M82.
Yeah, sorry.
I was going to say, it's like, yeah, the
Yeah,
M82.
I'm not really finding anything.
Yeah, sorry. My screen sometimes makes 6s look like 8s. Sorry.
Yes. I like the
Oh,
Barrett
yeah.
M82.
M62 is a finished assault rifle.
That's the one I was like, I don't think that's an anti-material, but yes, the Barrett. Yes. Just yes. That's what Nathan says when he picks it up. Yes.
Cecil, Victor, Rick. Vanessa's uninterested unless it involves her fists. They do have a nice...
I'm sure they could come up with some fun attachments for fists.
Oh, they certainly have brass knuckles and stuff like that.
Or things that they could work onto, the gauntlets that came with the armor suit.
So I was trying to extract sort of pneumatics Wolverine claws.
How about you get brass knuckles with like little trigger on when you punch, and then it shoots a gun, or when you punch, it shoots.
I can make you something, Vanessa. Just gotta
Terrible idea. Don't do that.
exactly what it is you want. And we'll see how close I can get.
Knowing what we may be up against, it would probably be in our best interest to acquire some ballistic armor.
EOD suits?
Excellent choice, Mr. Delacroix, one of the representatives says. And then he makes a gesture, and several individuals start wheeling out a collection of your standard Kevlar vests, however, there are a couple more unique pieces. There are a couple of tailor-made armored suits that you can see there. However, there's even a bomb suit being wheeled in on there as well.
EOD, yeah.
And Nathan and Rick, you would be able to see a couple of these pieces that they're wheeling in are level 4s.
Ooh.
Nice. I mean, can't walk around in that, but
No, but knowing what resistance we might be up against, it might be prudent.
What's the level 4?
Level 4 is... I'll let somebody that actually can explain it a lot better than me.
That'd be Rick. Someone who's probably actually worn it.
yeah, it's basically like when you see like in the movies the guys going in to defuse the bombs and they're like waddling like the giant Michelin Man and all the stuff, so that if the bomb blows up, like they're still fine, for the most part maybe. It's that big thing with like the giant neck thing around and the big helmet, and they're like walling around. Looks like they got tape everywhere, and it's got it's like a juggernaut suit basically.
They also bring in a couple of Vants. Those
all of these things.
Vants are it's a Russian ballistic shield. It's rated rank 3. It's a very heavy rank 3, but it is quite heavy though. but they're bringing it in just in case.
Honestly, I think unless they've got a pistol nicer than Rick's, which I doubt it, he's probably not interested.
Most of these don't have modifications on them, but they certainly have like attachments sitting around, etc. So if there's a certain attachment you might be looking for.
I mean, I've already got a suppressor and a laser sight, and then the pistol itself is pretty heavily modified with like hair trigger and nicer barrels and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think there's anything else I could really put on it without it getting a little too crazy. Only thing he might do, it's a 22 caliber pistol, but if there's any sort of like really nice specialty ammo, I don't know really what you can do specialty wise on a 22. There's not a lot to work with there.
Not a lot of room there.
Yeah.
Maybe time to upgrade from the 22 to something a little more manly.
How do these shields work? These ballistic shields.
I have saved
shields.
most of you with this pistol.
Vanessa, the question is, you literally hold it in front of you, and it can stand up to pretty much anything short of an M1 Garand.
Okay, very specific weapon choice.
There's a reason.
The quintessential rifle.
Yeah, it's a 30 cal.
30
full-size rifle.
Yeah, so basically, against small arm fire, it's not getting through this thing.
Okay, and this thing's very heavy, is it?
It's pretty heavy, yes. It's one of those things that a lot of people say, if you're going to make something that heavy, why isn't it level 4?
Man, I'm just getting all these flashbacks of playing Siege now.
I think Rick might look for like a really nice high-end like Kimber Custom Elite style like 45, and give them an order of like the mods he wants to basically do to it what he's done to his 22. Because once you get to 45, you can start putting your hands on like incendiary ammunition and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's one thing to have like a Kevlar vest, because a 22 probably won't hit it until it's 4 or 5 rounds in. A 45 at close range, most ballistic vests will not stand up to a 45 at close range. And if they're incendiary, that's a whole nother problem for the person inside that vest.
Oh, 100% they have 45s, so like that's not even a question.
Got the classic 1911.
Yeah, so I think he'll take a not a class. No, he didn't want that. He wants like he wants like a really nice like a top end, like a Kimber Custom Elite, like one of those things where it's like $2,000 for the pistol, and then you dump several $1,000s worth of mods into the pistol.
Desert Eagle,
he knows that's one of the things we're
1911.
gonna have to go and get and come back with. But he's gonna put an order in for something like that, and then some frangible copper rounds and some incendiary rounds. Those, frangible basically means like the round like disintegrates into particles when it hits like a hard surface. And it basically, like when it hits a hard surface, it just turns into freaking shrapnel. They're not good for people to get shot with them. There's war crimes involved.
Just as an FYI to anybody that ever runs a game, whenever you start handing out guns to gun nuts, expect this type of behavior.
Yeah.
We are going to play Escape from Tarkov in the gear list.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the frangibles aren't bad. Like they're literally designed to prevent like massive penetration. So it's like you can shoot somebody in like the knees, the legs, stuff like that, and rather than like hit an artery and kill them, it's gonna like maim their knee and put them down. Whereas the incendiary rounds is a whole nother type of war crime. So like he wants some frangible rounds, so that there's people who aren't involved, he can put them down without killing them, and then he wants incendiary rounds for everyone inside the clubhouse.
Ooh.
What are you putting down without killing?
Probably
Victor-
nobody, but it's good to have them just in case.
Victor?
Victor isn't necessarily the
What if
most
there's a
educated
puppy? I don't want to kill a puppy.
on
A
this,
monster kills a puppy.
but given the circumstances, we could certainly leverage everything available to us. One thing Victor might be interested in procuring, if the rest of the group is something to level the playing field. Shall we say a bit of chemical warfare, some sort of smoke and or tear gas grenades, and some sort of breathing apparatus from us, because Victor's not super fond of just the idea of running in there against a group of serial killers armed with guns, knives, who knows what. Victor also knows that there's only 2 of us that have, I believe, actual like military experience, and the rest of us just hunt monsters.
That's a good idea.
We could go one of 2 ways. EMP is probably going to shut the lights down, so we could just stick with that and have some night vision, or we could. I mean, that's going to happen either way because I don't want people making calls or sending messages or anything like that out. But yeah, like bump tear gas, mustard gas, and some masks and some infrared goggles. Nobody but us would be able to see or breathe.
Wow.
You actually see a couple of the arms dealers. They're making notes. They're calling in people because stuff like, specifically like when they hear mustard gas, they're like, okay, that's not something we carry on hand. That's something we can get, but like we gotta call a guy, to bring that in.
White phosphorus. Let's go.
Can you get that?
Straight to war crimes.
Get some Willy Peter.
Can you get white phosphorus? Like, he was joking, but I'm not.
One of them kind of makes a smirk, and he goes, I know it's not quite the same, but I feel like it's still an appropriate line. Gotta love the smell of napalm in the morning. Yeah, I can get it.
So there's going to be a lot of smoke and no lights. What say I hear a group who's working on a heads-up display that can track squad mates. That might be a good idea to have.
Okay.
You don't have that?
I don't have that.
Wow.
I figured you might have a hand in that.
Oh, if they don't, I could maybe make some calls if they don't have it. That's not the kind of R&D I do.
Because it's not like in the field quite yet, last I heard.
Your Navy boys up in the air, the pilots, they've got some stuff. Ground guys, it's a little harder to get your hands on.
Exactly.
Yeah. And he'll just kind of look at the people in the room.
What are they talking about? What?
They're kind of talking, and that's a bit more of a taller order than most of this other stuff. Some of the stuff you've asked for, yes, it's illegal. Whatever.
Or what?
Whatever.
We're dealing with arms dealers, like.
Yeah. Something like that is a little bit beyond their scope, realistically.
See, well, part of the reason I ask is there's only 2 of us that have had, extensive military training who know what to do in the middle of a firefight. That may not go so well with, don't be, offended,
Civilians.
but yes. A bunch of civilians in the crossfire.
So we come up with another means of differentiating ourselves, perhaps.
Yes, just yell out, "Hey, don't shoot me."
Well, maybe we can do that in more of a planning way, because just trying to picture it, I'm going to imagine that Vanessa will be in the lead, and that likely immediately behind Vanessa will be Rick and Victor, and Nathan will either be in that sort of vanguard or will be up high somewhere with a good line of sight. And I feel like my best place will be a pursuer to make sure that no one gets out. So I feel like being part of the entry team might not be the best thing. So if the entry team is Vanessa and Victor and Rick, that's going to be hard for them to hit each other. There's probably not going to be a whole lot of confusion about you three.
Don't let the target get you all confused. I mean, we've worked together for years. This is not the first nest we've hit. I mean, we don't all have the same background, but I wouldn't call us untrained or inexperienced either.
Victor, how many times have you been shot at? And there's your answer.
I've had things shot at me, I suppose, but I'm not necessarily accustomed to firearm.
He was nearly eaten by a slug. I mean, stress is stress. One's just a little louder than the other.
Yes. The things we tend to hunt tend not to shoot back with conventional means.
Exactly. So it's a little bit different.
Yes. Hence my desire for the ballistic armor.
There is a lot of choices. Some of them are obviously more utilitarian. Some of them are woven into suits. There's a particularly nice spider silk spun suit.
Yeah, if they have anything that's like Rick's old, like reinforced, like under stuff that he would wear, then he'll grab that to replace what he can't get back from London.
I think I'm going to elect for a full suit of riot gear and a large shield.
Ooh.
So you are taking the Vaunt. That's pretty much what those are.
Yeah, I found them in Hurt Locker.
Yep.
Get double riot shields, bash people.
I don't have weaponry to do it, so...
They certainly have it. That's not even the weirdest request they have.
I still want my Wolverine claws, though.
So Cecil's gonna look to Rick and be like, so I'm thinking for me, I should have something smaller, easier to use, but also a good capacity. Something that's lighter, easier to handle so I can stay mobile.
I'll hand him my 22.
Get a submachine gun.
My decked out 22 caliber pistol.
Get you an Uzi.
Yeah, but aren't Uzis like bulky and heavy?
No, they're small.
They're small.
Hold them one-handed. They're not quiet, and they put out a lot of. They're fully automatic.
I mean, for like mechanical purposes, there are both small and heavy, like
Machine
SMGs.
Yeah, see, me the player, Cecil doesn't know anything about this stuff. So like me the player, I would probably have Cecil pick out like a.
It kind of depends on
MP5, like the MP5 SD, or like a Vector or something. But like Cecil doesn't know about these things.
What's your strength score? Because that might preclude you from.
It's 2.
Heavier weapons. Okay, so yeah, that will exclude some of the bigger.
Which he doesn't want anyway. Like Cecil, like he literally wants to be able to stay mobile. Like he wants to be able to like have it on a sling so that he can have both hands free and still be able to climb and whatnot. And so it's not like a big he doesn't want a 20-pound weight harness to his chest.
The people begin to discuss stuff with each other. We have a lovely selection of Mac 10s.
I'd probably do you.
Small submachine gun.
That I feel like something like that will be best for me. Something along those lines.
Get yourself some auto fire, some spray and pray.
Would you like 9mm or 45 ACP?
Cecil looks at Rick and Nathan.
Give him some 45. Make him incendiary.
Yeah, it's heavier, more recoil, but better stopping power. 9mm will probably be, easier to handle, but
Looking at roughly about 1,090 rounds per minute on the 45s. Probably those.
I mean, so Cecil's chewing on Rick being like, make 45s and make him incendiary, and Nathan is like, but the 9mm is easier to handle. Cecil's like, what the hell do I do?
And then this guy's just like, oh, the 45 is 1,090 rounds per minute, while the 9mm is roughly 1,200 to 1,500 rounds per minute.
I don't think I'm going to be carrying that much ammunition on me.
Out of curiosity, do these guys have military-grade flamethrowers?
Oh my.
Drills get scorched at earth approach.
They are not on display, but it is certainly something they could get a hold of, yes. These guys are literally the arms dealers that
I mean,
billion...
to be fair, if we're rocking white phosphorus, we've already got the incendiary angle.
I'm just thinking maybe Rick might be interested in pulling
I'm not carrying that heavy crap.
To be honest, I was picturing a special mounting for the shield so that Vanessa didn't have to use a hand for the shield, so that she could two-hand the flamethrower while still having the shield in front.
But so basically have the shield taped to my arm.
Basically.
However, you're, of course, with flamethrowers, you've got to consider the gigantic backpack.
The problem with flamethrowers is they require special training.
That
In
too.
this system, anyway. But I was just thinking maybe somebody more of a firearm bet might be more interested in.
That's too bulky.
it would be.
I don't think any of us have the specialty in.
Only
Heavy
one
weapon.
experience.
It might be fun for a couple minutes, but I'd get heavy quick.
Couple of minutes. Be a fun couple of minutes.
And realistically, those don't last more than a couple of minutes. That fuel goes fast.
Yeah, that's what I said. Fun for a couple minutes.
Yeah.
I actually know enough about guns to say something like that.
But we can just assume most of what we want we can get.
Unless it's real specialty like what Vanessa's asking for, or something like Nathan's asking for, where it's only being tested in the upper echelons of the military, so to speak. Yeah.
Probably not. Or at least it would take a while.
Yeah. Other than my custom order on my pistol and some rounds, I think that's it. And the suit, a replacement suit. That's it for Rick.
Yeah, and Cecil would want to get stuff that's actually armor, but he'd still want to keep it light. He doesn't want to be hampered too much whilst he is being mobile.
So essentially just a standard Kevlar.
Pretty much. And a nifty little SMG, maybe with a couple of cool things put on it that I'm sure that Rick and Nathan will show me how to use.
Rick knows pistols. Nathan knows everything else.
A lot of rifles. What would you say would be the stats on a 20 millimeter depleted uranium?
God damn, dude.
Out of
illegal.
curiosity. Huh?
Oh no.
Not the first time I've actually heard this question before.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say there's stats. I think the biggest rifle in the book is a
Big game.
rifle
+5.
with that +5.
I think that's like 50 cal. That's what I'm assuming.
Like
Or elephant gun or that type of size.
yeah.
Yeah, some of those guns are bigger than 50.
No, I think with the big game rifle, you have to brace it to fire it to handle the recoil.
You need a
Yeah.
bipod. You need to set up properly.
And for reference, 20 millimeter is a
Anti-tank.
79 caliber, by the way.
Big. It's big, yo, boom.
So,
I guess the question then is, are we all going inside, or do we have someone outside picking escapees off? I guess.
Stragglers.
with that,
We're gonna get all the
on the
weapons we
front.
need for both, and
Nathan
then
on the
we're
front
gonna
and me
get
in the back.
Too many people talking. Rick.
we're gonna get everything we need for both, and then we're gonna have to decide when we get on site because it's gonna depend on what the situation is with the exterior of the building,
True.
what's around it, what the vantage points are,
We'll
windows.
take one of everything.
Yeah, basically.
eventually the shopping spree does end. They
One
put,
day.
They put in their special orders for the stuff that they can't get a hold of right now. And they take their leave, leaving you to discuss actual plans. Shortly after they leave, Genesis, I'm getting some feedback. I can hear myself over your speaker. There we go. Baxter shows up. He does have your shopping list, and he kind of hands it off to you, Rick. Also, what he hands off, he's not saying a single word to you during this time either. He hands you what seems to be just a standard sheet of paper, printer paper. And also a very large rolled up piece of paper. You can already tell the backside's white, the inside of it's blue. And he kind of just gives you a nod like, you already know what you need to do with all this. I don't need to insult your intelligence.
I'll
Some
just
of
give him
us
a
do
nod.
know what a blueprint is.
Yep.
And he leaves. Also, I would assume by this point, Rick has probably started to see if there's any cameras or anything.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Uh,
Like we're gonna bug sweep this place.
Give me a roll.
What role would that be?
I could see an argument for perception, but you're not just looking for them, you're actually using tech. So give me intelligence plus crafts, because I'm pretty sure you made something that's really good at this.
Probably, because that's probably better than what I could find. We're gonna probably get a couple nights rest between now and then. I'll burn another willpower, sure. 6 successes.
Nice.
Outside of the elevator camera, and one camera pointing at the elevator entrance, since the elevator enters into this room. There are no cameras or listening devices anywhere in this room, and to the best of your knowledge, the one visible camera isn't audio. It is only video feeds.
That actually tracks. Like, on one hand, they probably like to know what we're up to when they're not watching, but on the other hand, they don't want any sort of recorded evidence of what might be going down, where they may be getting mentioned. So
They want nothing linked back to them.
yeah, so like that tracks. I don't think I'm terribly surprised, but it's something he'd check for anyway. So
Yeah. Of course.
So these blueprints are for the Unclub building, yes?
Yes.
probably.
Is there also an address with it?
That is on the sheet of paper.
All right, so we'll pull up some satellite images, check the surrounding area.
Yep, time to get to work. Google Maps that stuff,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
yep, ingress, egress, multiple of each, surrounding areas, vantage points, traffic at various times a day. We can go to like Google Maps travel stuff and see what like where it does like green, yellow, orange, red for like traffic congestion, and see like what the least busy times of day are, commercial, residential, industrial, yada 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 yada.
All that good stuff.
So, if people, I will go ahead and give you a longitude and latitude if you want to bring up your maps. Because this is just the easiest way to do it. 39.92, 57.3, -75, 0.14492.
I didn't get up that fast, so I'm gonna wait for somebody else to mark it on our
Paste
hunter.
that in the Discord.
Yes, I can.
Thank you. That saves me a bunch of time.
It saves everybody a bunch of time because they don't have to write it down now.
Exactly. Copy, paste.
Philadelphia.
There you are. Oh, there's a Walmart right there. Home Depot.
Target.
And this is the corner building?
Yes.
Oh.
Oh, that's pretty dense.
Yeah, there's a lot of civilians
shopping.
around there.
There's a lot of shopping there.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
I'm surprised of how open it is. The fact
they're-
that it's like,
They've placed themselves next to their preferred prey.
so we got a car park.
Well, this certainly changes things.
Yeah. Yes, it does.
Changes the speed we use, not much else.
Well, as I see it, we're either going to need to hit it hard and fast, or we're going to need to be quiet about it.
That's gonna be tricky.
We'll need to know when most of them will be there.
There are four exterior ground floor doors.
Somebody's on Street View.
I can't go on Street View. Thought they did.
Yeah, we'll need a few days of recon.
That's a lot of exits to cover. We'll have to block some off before we go in.
So, question to the storyteller. Would there be an advantage to using my military in this situation?
There's more bodies. However, more bodies also mean more mouths.
More mouth. Yeah, exactly. So,
Risk versus reward here.
Because that is a lot of doors. Hard to cover 4 doors with, one
6
guy outside.
It's also a 2-level roof. But that said, Nathan, if you are across the street to the north, you would be able to cover all sides of the building except the rear, and you'd also get all of the windows that the building has.
Ooh. I'm not on Street View, so I'll take your word for it.
It's very much
There's a building taller behind it, but there are no windows on that side, so it's definitely you're definitely, if you're going to be long range, you definitely want to be on the north side of it, because it's kind of shaped like a V. You end up being at the point of the V, and so you can see all the way down one side and across the other side. You can see both sides of the external sides of the V. So the only thing you won't be able to see is the top of it.
Okay. I wonder, instead of using a military to help hit the place, could I use them to help clear the area of civilians and other folk we don't want to be there? Or is that too much?
No, it's not too much. It's still kind of the exact same issue. It's still more people in that exact area, so it's a little,
Looking around, it seems mostly commercial and industry around the area here. So, attacking it, there's probably going to be less people around at night.
If they meet at night, that'd be peachy.
So America has so many goddamn car parks.
We like our cars.
Welcome to urban hell.
Everybody and their kid has 2 cars.
There's a whole thing about that. It's a whole thing. Well, let's get on the let's get on the plane. Let's get moving.
Yeah,
Well-
not much we can do until we've surveyed
We need to get on site.
So you want to do your craft rolls on site? Or do you want to get your EMP?
Yeah, I'll need to build what I need to build before we go.
And besides, a couple of you had custom orders that are going to take a couple of days to come in.
Yeah. So we'll have to hold on that. The specialty ammunition and all that sort of stuff.
So, we're going to give like a week here.
Okay.
So, go ahead and give me your crafts roll.
All right. I've got the inspired condition on that.
All right. If you don't burn it, Grog is going to burn you.
So, do I have to burn that before or after?
You just say it.
You're going to...
But it would be before.
Yeah, before.
Before? Okay. So let's do it on the EMP.
Wow.
Because I want to make sure everything's dark when we go in here. I don't want them to be able to make any sort of communication on the outside. There's no attention to this. This needs to be. So, I'll burn willpower because we have like a week, so it doesn't matter. 5 successes.
Nice.
Exception.
And I burned inspiration. I
So,
burned
do you want to reduce the amount of successes, have it be additional effect, or cut down the amount of time between rolls?
Is this an extended? I guess would this be an extended action?
Yeah, this is an extended action, but it's technically the frequency would be once per day. So over a week, you're gonna get it done.
Let's do let's do additional effect.
Okay.
I don't know what that additional effect on it will be. I'll have to think on that.
Yeah. All right.
We'll figure it out.
I'll need another roll.
All right.
Looking at target success of 10 here.
Well, there's your another 4 on day 2. And day 3 will be another 2.
So
So 3 days.
3 days, and this EMP is up, and well, you haven't tested it because you've only had enough for 1. However, it should work. There's no reason it won't.
And then I'll work on Vanessa's things. I got 4 days to work on her claws.
During that 4 days, something's gonna
Okay.
get delivered to you.
Ooh.
It is left on the elevator and sent up by itself. It is a
Interesting.
massive metal backpack. And connected to it, the best way to describe what's connected to this backpack is a Tesla coil.
Interesting.
And it does have a little handwritten card note.
Oh, sweet.
To Rick, from the members of Task Force Valkyrie. This is known
Sounds like
as the Millionaire Canon.
the Molnia.
Interesting.
The most devastating weapon in our arsenal.
Sorry, Vanessa. So I'm gonna spend 4 days on this, or however long I need to figure out
Figure it
what
out.
this is, how it works, what it does.
I told
Doesn't
you.
come with instructions.
No, it does not.
Oh, that's even better.
I already hear the crafts intelligence crafts roll. I already hear it in my headset. I hear the dice.
Yeah. Like I don't know how much time it'll take, but we're gonna figure this. We're gonna figure this piece of equipment out.
You've got what, 3 or 4 days?
4 days.
4 days plus whatever time on the plane plus whatever time I need while recon's happening.
During this time, what is everybody else doing? Since Rick is thoroughly entertained with the new toy that has been shipped up.
Yay!
Nothing. Probably nothing much for note for Vanessa. Like she's just waiting for Rick. She's got everything she needs.
Must be nice having your guns attached to your body like that.
Right?
Very convenient.
Nathan would
Maybe doing
probably
some working out.
it'd probably be tuning some of the rifles that he got, and if requested, some of the others.
Honestly, most of these weren't factory issue. They weren't like brand new, brought out of the factory. They had already been expertly tuned. You can already tell looking at these. They're brand new, but they have been worked on. You can tell that.
All right, they got their people to do some of the work, some of the heavy lifting for me. Then.
Yep.
That leaves not much else on that front.
No calls to your daughter or anything like that?
He probably would. And he'll be very vague about what he's doing. If not vague, just outright lying. Doing something completely different.
All right.
Going on a business trip, honey. Nothing to know for you to know about.
Yep, nothing to worry about.
And of course, she's like, it's Ashford Abbey business, isn't it?
It's business as usual. You know, some of my customers, they have a fly out to other places to meet.
It's Ashford Abbey business, isn't it?
It's business as usual, sweetie.
We're not gonna harp on this conversation because it is literally that back and forth.
Pretty much.
I like to
yeah.
picture like the Edinburgh branch shows up to exfil her in the middle of the phone call.
He'll try to throw in some small talk. How was your day? All that stuff. It's your handler? No, not handler. Because he has someone taking care of her while he's gone.
Mhm.
So, are you eating right? Going to sleep? Doing your homework? Do your homework.
Cecil?
Cecil will need some practice time with these weapons that he is unfamiliar with. But he would also want to scout and get some eyes on just the general area.
That would be on-site stuff to do, yeah.
There is
Well, you're
directly adjacent to this place, there's a literal warehouse. It's a 4-story building that it shares the same parking lot that is at the rear of the building that we're looking at. So I don't know. It would be worth it for Cecil to observe and just get a feel for the place and become more educated on what kind of activity levels there are, since it's in the middle of freaking Philadelphia. And but yeah, he definitely wants to get a handle on how these new lethal toys play.
We can make a pit stop at a place that'll allow you to use full auto shooting range.
It's America. The 7-Elevens will do that.
Yeah.
Victor.
There's not a lot I suppose Victor can do while we're here, but something I guess has been eating away at him, and being here in the home branch of the Abbey does give him I suppose some additional resources on that front. Victor will try and use this week and try and finish his investigation of the slug monster we had encountered. Something to keep him occupied while the military minds try and put together some scheme.
All right, give me your roll. Where is my... Okay, found it. Intelligence plus occult, if I'm not mistaken.
One success.
On 9 again. Oh. You weren't one success away, unfortunately, so...
No biggie.
Yeah. It would have been almost anything else. Except for a 1 or a 2. I think you were good.
That's how the dice go.
So, with that time frame up, you guys are ushered onto a plane. This plane is... I'm gonna say it, and Rick's gonna scoff, because arrogance is Rick's forte.
It is.
It's as nice as your plane, Rick.
I seriously doubt that.
He's gonna look for every flaw he can.
Oh yeah, there's blemishes.
Even if he has to make it up.
There's a blemish here. The paint's scuffed there. They obviously did a bad job polishing. The carpet hasn't been steamed in at least a week. Whether
See,
it's
what I like
whether it's
about
true or not.
what I like about this plane is it's longer than her helicopter, and it's thus more physically possible to get further away from Rick.
It also is not owned by him.
That's a positive, yeah. I think Nora would approve.
As
Probably.
this flight actually doesn't take very long. This jet definitely seems to be somewhat upgraded, let's just say. We're talking Philadelphia to Edinburgh to London in probably looking at 4 to 5 hours. And as it touches down on private tarmac, the pilot goes, "All right, I got you here. My orders, just so you're aware, is to wait for the smoke signal, so to speak. When I see that place go up, you have exactly 2 hours to get back here. And I'm out."
Out of curiosity, how far is this is our target
From the airport.
This private airport?
I do not have an exact area.
Just rough estimate if you want to give it to.
Yeah. You're still looking towards more the Philadelphia International Airport area, which you should be able to plug in the coordinates pretty quickly and get that. I'm pretty sure Cecil already has it.
Personally, I haven't been looking, but Cecil would know.
Fair enough. So it's not necessarily a tight time frame, but it's also not a time frame you want to mess with.
Oh. What? Oh, it's actually pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty close, but it's still not. It's something that if you get caught in the wrong place at the wrong time, that time will go fast.
I was just thinking, like, I thought the airport would be outside the urban area, but it seems it's...
No, we land our planes in the middle of the big city towers.
Yes.
Land right over the freeway, and
Is there another place to do that?
nope. Everywhere else is car parks.
What's a car park, but it's just a slightly smaller airport?
There is a...
I mean, that's Rick's opinion.
what looks like a Hyundai Kia factory ground, like a shipping center, that is just a massive, massive parking lot. Just like a couple blocks away. So if we really need like a helicopter or something to land nearby, I mean, there's plenty of parking lots nearby. I'm just saying, like, there's so much open space in this area. We could do lots of things with it.
It's also this moment that it kind of occurs to Rick and Nathan. It's been a while since you've been back in the U.S. Not sure about Cecil, how long it's been for him.
It has been a while. That is for certain.
Something we might also consider for evac. We're very close to the docks. We could potentially take a boat out of there.
Right next to the water.
It'd probably be a lot more subtle than landing a helicopter in the Walmart parking lot.
It's literally...
Who would do that?
but it's literally a Home Depot and a Walmart away from the river. Like
Right there.
there's just a Walmart and a Home Depot, and then the place that we're going at. So then there's a river.
You know, we could probably arrange for like a low key like speed sub, like what's used in drug trafficking. Holds like 5 or 6 people, a couple 100 feet under the water, moves at a decent rate.
That's well and all, but how are we going to get a drug smuggling sub on short notice?
In the middle of Pennsylvania.
Lots of
In the
money.
middle of Pennsylvania, you have it like a mile offshore, and you have a speedboat to drop you out there, to take you out there.
I don't know about the rest of you, but I don't have any connections to the cartel.
Only one of us had like good connections to like some sort of like large multi-billion-dollar private military organization that might have some sort of like infill, exfil equipment for moving in and out of like a hostile territory in low-key fashion. That would be fantastic.
Only.
We indeed do have one of those available to us.
Oh,
If that's the route we want to take, Nathan can certainly.
speaking of that, Nathan, did you end up contacting any of the PMC?
He would if this is a viable option. If this is the route we're going to go.
I was more referring to having more eyes on the building, etc. The original question.
The original question. He would probably call at least one other guy to keep tabs on the back if no one else volunteers. Otherwise, he'll try and have them keep people out of the area.
Okay. As you guys kind of turn to look over the city of Philadelphia, there is a certain level of knowledge that all of you guys have that come possibly tomorrow or the next day, this place is going to be chaos. There's no way that bodies get dropped in this number without chaos. And that is where we will leave this session. We will see everybody not next week, but the week after. Unfortunately, I'm moving next week, so have to get that taken care of.
More time to plan.
Yep. And also, very, very likely, this will be the grand finale of the Black Royal Regatta.
Don't miss it.
Don't see you guys that week.
Bye.
Bye.